I would prefer outdoor activities over indoor activities for main two reasons. The most important, crucial reason for doing outdoor activities is because it are very fun and can be used as a supplement to physical exercises because outdoor activities require a lot of strength and it keeps our body fit as compared to indoor activities. On the other hand, the indoor activities are usually played in groups and in indoor. So basically, they are boring activities, and we would always require someone to play along with us. For example, if we play a board game, we would need at least 2 to 3 people, and it won't be much exciting to do that. I would prefer to go on a short-term trips rather than on a long-term trips because when I go on a long-term trips, I feel homesickness if I am away from home for a long period of time. For example, when I went to Haridwar, it was a 15 days trip. We traveled from Ahmedabad and it took us 15 days to come back, and it was really tiring and my whole body was aching. However, when I go on a short-term trips, the first reason why I would prefer is affordability because long-term trips are an expensive affair. The short-term trips are in low in cost and are refreshing and would rejuvenate, and I can focus on my work or studies more clearly, and it could give me good and very good experiences. The campus announcement was regarding the scholarship to the students who are studying chemistry. The speaker, however, opposes because for two main reasons. First of all, she cited that the equipment that are used in the chemistry lab are outdated and would require updating it. If the university has extra money to pay for the scholarship, they should think about to upgrade the equipments because the students, if they use the outdated equipments, they won't be able to compete and they would be at the disadvantage. The second reason this lady sorted out was like the university should spend on the current students who are currently pursuing their chemistry subject because they are working hard. Most of the students get good grades, but they do not get 90 and above, so they won't be benefited. So the university should think to give them awards not in the scholarship but as rewards for what the hard work they put in. The announcement is regarding the Children Tutoring Center, which is going to be moved from any 10 building, and because of there is decrease in the enrollment. However, the lady opposes this idea and she was clearly upset with the decision because she is currently doing her business and Children Tutoring Center helps her in a lot of way. She also states that if it is moved, it would go far away from the center and it would discourage children to get enrollment. On top of that, as the enrollment are also decreasing. Secondly, she states that the place or the children tutoring center should be stayed at the same place, and rather than moving, the students should be encouraged by rescheduling the timetables. So it would be very beneficial for the students as well to not to move to the far place. Establishing shots are generally used by film directors in a film by setting of a scene and showing it in a large context to its viewers. The basic purpose is to provide a background. The female speaker explained this with an example of a book. She states, wherein a writer in a book lured the Mr. X falsely as if it was a secure place on a beach, but the Mr. X was moving close to the danger. The purpose of this is to explain how the establishing shots are used not by just words but by images. The second example she stated was about a film named Babel, wherein two kids challenge each other for a rifle shoot. They shoot at the moving bus, which is in a barren and rocky territory. And the another example this speaker gave of the truck driver who was listening to us loud music and suddenly pressed this accelerator and the steering. So it looks like the driver needs some help, and inside the cabin it seems like the driver was looking for someone to help him. So this created another impression on the viewers. Altruism is basically to sacrifice for someone. It is generally seen in the creatures. The female professor cites two examples to explain altruism. First of all, she gave example of squirrels which make high sounds when they see any predator or danger coming towards them. In the process of doing this, the squirrels save another squirrels but consequently leads the predator towards itself, and thus it sacrifices for the well-being of other squirrels. So this is the prime example of altruism in animals. The another example the professor gave was about the ants. The ants secrete a sticky substance, and while doing this they die. But surprisingly, this process helps to save another ants by giving them protection from the predators. So altruism basically is all about saving someone by sacrificing themselves. The lecturer in the agriculture class discussing main two methods by which humans can prevent soil erosion and depletion. Mainly the soil is eroded by the deforestation, and the soil is damaged because of monoculture, wherein the same crops are planted again and again which use the same nutrients. The first method to control the erosion and soil damage is counter plowing. It means to plant the crops in the slopes, which has some small dams that hold on the water and reduces the flow of water, thus preventing soil erosion. Additionally, it also requires less amount of water because these dams hold the water for a long time. The second best way to prevent soil erosion and soil damage is crop rotation. To retain the nutrients, it is very important to crop different types of crops in a year. This would replace the essential nutrients and would eventually increase the soil fertility. The lecture was based on agriculture, which looks at deforestation and soil damage caused by monoculture. The lecturer cites two different ways by which this can be prevented. The first one is counter plowing and the second one is crop rotation. Counter plowing is enabled to grow the plants on the slopes by creating small dams which slows down the flow of water and prevent the soil erosion. While crop rotation is to retain the nutrients by growing different crops in different seasons, which would thus replace the essential nutrients that are required for the other plants. Consequently, it would increase the fertility of the soil and would enhance the agriculture output. The lecture was about the pterosaurs would unable to get into power flights. The lecturer suggested two theories that supports that the pterosaurs were unable to fly. First of all, these pterosaurs are believed to be cold-blooded animals. However, the hot-blooded animals would generate more energy to fly as compared to cold-blooded animals. So, it is believed that the pterosaurs would not be able to use the power flight because it would require more energy out of them. The second theory was to take off from the ground. The lecturers cite as an example of a bird using, like, the birds jump from the ground or a branch of a tree, or they run and then they use the power flight. However, the pterosaurs were huge in size and would not be able to do it. Even the fossil records support this, as their back tails were very weak and small and could not support the power flight.